Alright, now what we want to do is we want to do a dependent drop down list. And what that is going to be is I'm going to select a quarterback from this list here. And we already created our list of quarterbacks and named the cell range that the list pulls from. So I want to select a quarterback here, and then in this column we're going to set up another list that allows you to choose a receiver, so that if I select Ben Roethlisberger as my quarterback, then only receivers that he would throw to show up in this list. So we already got our heading here, and here's what we got to do. So we want to take the names that are in our list that we're going to depend on, and our dependent list is going to be headed by those names with no spaces. We'll do that, and then we're going to fill in some receivers here. Current or former players. And who did the Chiefs have? Let's see. Travis Kelce. And we'll do a shout out to Tony Gonzalez here. Okay, so these are our lists. Now I'm going to name these. I think I might have just made a mistake or made it a little more complicated than it needs to be. So actually what we want to do is name this range of cells with this name with no spaces. This really doesn't matter what it is. So we'll do that for each of these. Again, make sure you hit enter. I don't think it's case sensitive either. Okay, so now this is named quarterback, this is named Ben Roethlisberger with no spaces, this is named Tom Brady with no spaces, this is named Alex Smith with no spaces. So if we go back to our original sheet, we do, again in this column, data validation, and same as before, we allow a list, but we want to tell this source, instead of being quarterback or equals Ben Roethlisberger, we want this thing to change based on what column A says. So what we're going to do is we're going to say equals indirect, and then substitute. And what this is going to do is it's going to look in, well, let me finish it up here. We'll say substitute A2, and we are going to substitute any spaces with nothing. So what this is saying is it's going to look in cell A2 for any spaces, and it's going to eliminate the spaces, and that's what the source is going to be. So for this right here, this is saying, oh, A2 is Ben space Roethlisberger. So I'm going to remove the space, and that's going to be Ben Roethlisberger, no space. And so our source is equaling Ben Roethlisberger, no space. And if you remember from sheet 2, we have a group that a drop down can refer to as Ben Roethlisberger with no spaces. So I hit OK here, and sometimes you'll get an error there. If you have nothing in here, you'll get an error. Just say yes. So in here I have selected Ben Roethlisberger, and my receiver shows up as the receivers that we had under Ben Roethlisberger here. It's really looking at this name. So let's select one of these, and try it for another one. We'll try Alex Smith, and I can see it worked out. So that's how you do it.